Hi, I'm Radzinski, speaker, educator, and expert in corporate responsibility and sustainable product design. Thank you for joining us in the last of our series on Introduction to Corporate Responsibility. Today we're going to be talking about the need for organizations to analyze the resources they utilize and potential risk of resource limitations. And then we're also going to be talking about establishing sustainability goals and some things you need to consider when you do that. So the first thing to think about when you're making a product or you're providing a service is what specific resources are critical to your operation or critical to the products you sell. And for many people, this could be things like oil, or it could be fossil fuels, it could be certain metals or minerals, or other things like that that are required for the successful development and manufacturing of their products. And when you start to think about those things, you have to ask yourselves, what resources are we dependent on for the sustainability of our company? What will happen in the future on the cost or availability? Are there risks around that? Could the cost suddenly increase dramatically, or are we reliant on only one or more sources of these raw materials? Could there be a situation where you can only get a material from a certain country and suddenly there's political unrest or a civil war or something that would limit your availability for these? We even saw this happen recently with some companies we worked with that were reliant on materials from Japan. And when the tsunami and the earthquake happened in Japan not long ago, basically many of the manufacturing plants there were shut down, so suddenly the supply chain was disrupted. So these are all things you really need to consider. What is most important to our organization? What do we need to be thinking about, and how can we prepare for the future? Because one important thing to remember is sustainability requires thinking of the present and the future. So it may be fine now that you've got plenty of materials, the pricing on your materials, or your supply chain's good, you've got a lot of suppliers that are providing materials or products at a good price, but what could happen 5 years, 2 years, or 10 years from now? So you really need to think about that. So when you're establishing your sustainability goals, you really need to think about what is material to your organization, what's most important to your organization, and what could have the biggest effect for your business strategy. So when doing that, resources and risk is one consideration, but you also have to think about your customers, you have to think about your employees, you have to think about different things around regulatory bodies and other requirements that might be coming. And you want to align your sustainability goals with your core strategies of your organization. Whenever we work with different organizations, we typically don't say we're starting from scratch and creating a whole new set of initiatives or organizational goals. Usually most companies or other organizations have organizational goals. Maybe it's to save energy or save water or to increase employee training or things like that. So really you want to build upon these things that already exist. And then it's really important to focus on obtaining and identifying goals that will provide cost savings and then are going to contribute to the overall sustainability of the organization. One thing we often look for in establishing goals is there a good opportunity to tell the world about some of these goals? You want to definitely do work that's focused on the most important aspects of your business strategy, but you also want to be able to market it and utilize that information to let the world know what kind of things you're doing in your organization. It's also really important, depending on what you do, is to think about the future of certain requirements or standards and how they might affect you as an organization. That's very important. Again, thinking about the present and the future to integrate those, and then really thinking about designing your strategy for long-term competitive advantage and continuous improvement. So sustainability goals, there's no book out there to say this should be the ultimate sustainability goals. They have to be very specific to your organization. They have to focus on improving your business strategy and be very connected to improving both economic, environmental, and social performance of your organization. So stay tuned. We're going to be releasing another series coming out at the end of the week, and that will be to be announced. So definitely keep following us on the blog, keep submitting your comments, and look for the next series coming up. It should be really good because we've been getting a lot of comments and input from people who've been participating on the blog. So we appreciate that and keep them coming because that allows us to tailor this to be specific to what you're looking for. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you on the next series.